Imperial Navy shall be honored and remembered upon holy terror. For the Emperor of mankind, and for the Battle Fleet Gothic!
In the grim darkness of the far future, humanity's galactic empire is constantly under siege from outside and within from a myriad of foes. The Imperial Navy stands as the first and often last line of defense for the millions of planets within the Imperium's fold. The Imperial Navy is relied upon to not only engage enemy armadas, but also to protect vital shipping lanes, transport other forces like the Astra Militarum, and safeguard Imperial space. Should the Imperial Navy fail in any of their duties, the Imperium itself would surely fail. Imperial Navy warships are always prepared and eager to destroy the enemies of mankind, and each sacred ship is a symbol of the might of the Emperor. The Navy is a key piece to the Imperium, and without it, the war machine would cease to function.
Through the determination, courage, and loyalty of every man in the Navy, the war had been won.
There are 5 major fleet zones in the Imperium, one for each segmente majoris. Every starship of the Imperial Navy is assigned to one of these segmente under the command of the respective Lord High Admiral. These 5 segmente fleets are Battlefleet Solar, Battlefleet Obscurus, Battlefleet Tempestus, Battlefleet Ultima, and Battlefleet Pacificus. As the Imperium is divided into segmente, the segmente are divided by sectors. Imperial Navy ships assigned to a segmentum are distributed to sectors into further groups designated battlefleets. In this way, every sector has its own battlefleet, commanded by a Lord Admiral. Battlefleets are often assigned 50 to 80 vessels, mostly cruisers and light cruisers, and are also assigned several escort squadrons, transports, and orbital defense platforms. They are mainly responsible for safeguarding their designated sector.
The Imperial Navy never falters in the path of its duty.
The Lunar-class cruiser is the backbone of any Imperial battle fleet, and is perhaps one of the greatest ships within Warhammer. So successful is the Lunar-class cruiser that it served as a baseline design for several new classes of Imperial warships, such as the Gothic-class cruiser. The Lunar's relative ease of construction, even without shipbuilding expertise, is one of the warship's biggest strengths. Usually operating in pairs, a common tactic of Lunar captains is to fire torpedoes at long range to disrupt enemy formations, while they close into short range for a devastating broadside. It becomes pound for pound one of the most effective warships not just in the Imperial Navy, but the entire galaxy. The ship is efficient and versatile, something often unseen within the Imperium. The design has served humanity for the last 10,000 years, and it still proves its uses every day as the brave crews soar into the jaws of evil to defend mankind.
Enemy strike craft coming in fast.
One of the most successful warships based on the Lunar-class cruiser is the Dictator-class cruiser. The Dictator replaces her lance decks with Jovian pattern launch bays to launch Fury interceptors and Starhawk bombers. The Dictator allows for increased strategic flexibility and range. The warship is commonly employed as a flagship for long-range patrols or anti-piracy missions, where the Dictator's strike craft become invaluable resources. The Dictator's main weapons are the strike crafted carries, up to 4 squadrons of Fury interceptors, 2 Starhawk bomber squadrons, and 2 Shark assault boat squadrons. However, the warship retains the Lunar's torpedo capabilities and some weapons batteries. The Dictator has a crew of about 85,000, with an additional 15,000 personnel responsible for the operation of the strike craft. It makes for a fine addition to any warfleet, providing flexibility with its many smaller crafts. The Dictator will serve the Imperium for the millennia to come.
You know what to do. Target their weak points.
The smallest warp-capable warships utilized by the Imperial Navy are known as escorts. There are 2 distinct subclasses of escort vessels, frigates and destroyers. The larger of the 2 subclasses, frigates, are better armed and carry heavier armor. They are multi-purpose vessels, able to act independently away from the fleet if required. Often a squadron of Sword-class frigates will be deployed when the full force of a cruiser would be unwarranted, or is needed elsewhere. Destroyers, generally smaller than frigates, are by far the fastest and most maneuverable ships in the Imperial Navy. The Cobra-class destroyer carries massive anti-warship torpedoes, and can threaten wounded cruisers or, when hunting in packs, even capital ships. Destroyers and frigates are usually organized in squadrons of 2 to 6 vessels, which operate in a wolf pack. Their main role is to provide a screen for friendly capital ships against enemy torpedoes and strike craft. Though they are small, officers of the Imperial Navy know these warships are not to be underestimated.
The Scholar Progenium molds callow flesh into leaders. officers of the Imperial Navy.
Naval officers are commonly trained from youth in the Schola Progenia to command warships with tens of thousands of souls into space. They must navigate the intricacies of void warfare, and their tactical acumen is unmatched, orchestrating battles on a scale that spans entire star systems. From Lord Admiral to Captain to Lieutenant, these commissioned officers are the heartbeat of the fleet, entrusted with the lives of their crews and the fate of the Imperium itself. Almost always of noble blood, these officers hail from families steeped in generations of service to the Imperial Navy. The weight of tradition, duty, and lineage rests upon their shoulders. Promotion through experience and merit propels them through the Imperial Navy hierarchy, each step a testament to their skill, leadership, and unwavering dedication. A full career in the Imperial Navy is viewed by most as a glorious, honorable, and brave profession.
The light of the Astronomicon shines.
Navigators are responsible for navigating Imperial Navy warships through the twisted sea of the warp. They possess a unique mutation, the Navigator gene, which gives a navigator the ability to see through the warp. They are essential to faster than light travel, and therefore to the Imperium's continued survival. Navigators all have a third eye on their foreheads, which allows them to perceive the light of the Astronomicon. The Astronomicon acts as a lighthouse in the otherwise hellish landscape of the warp, and is the sole reason navigators are able to guide warships through the warp. Though navigators are a living window into the warp, they never possess any psychic abilities beyond the powers their warp eye affords them. Navigators' abilities increase in power gradually as they age. Since navigators have an extended lifespan of roughly 400 Terran years, experienced navigators are much more capable. Every navigator comes from one of the great families of the Navis Nobilite, and, as with their Imperial Navy counterparts, take on their generational duty with pride.
What's the Navy's official policy for a gunfight? Send in the Marine!
Imperial Navy armsmen, sometimes referred to as Voidsmen at Arms, are the dedicated infantry of the Imperial Navy. They are tasked with defending warships from boarding attacks, conducting boarding assaults on enemy vessels, keeping the ship's crew in line, and with providing security to the fleet. Armsmen are drilled and trained during the long voyages in space. They have a fierce rivalry with their comrades in the Astra Militarum. It is not uncommon for armsmen and guardsmen to hold friendly competitions while an Imperial Navy ship is transporting an Imperial Guard regiment. When armsmen are first assigned to a warship, they partake in a unique ceremony. They drink incense-laced oil so that the warship's essence flows through their blood, just as the armsmen move through the corridors and passageways of the vessel. They also swear to slay any force which threatens their ship or its crew. Though they will endure brutal close-quarters fighting, armsmen enjoy more freedom on the ship than most. They are able to travel between decks and sometimes are granted planetary leave.
It is better to die for the Emperor than to live for yourself!
Imperial Navy ratings are the basic enlisted voidsmen aboard an Imperial warship. They perform all the tasks expected of a voidsman, hauling shells and missiles, manning gun crews, clearing debris, or conducting maintenance, and much, much more. The majority of a warship's crew will be Radiants. These men and women are all volunteers. Life on an Imperial warship is better than many Imperial worlds. The pay is good, and the opportunity to earn glory and to travel the galaxy ensures more recruits. Should, for whatever reason, there are not enough volunteers, a captain may send press gangs to tithe more crew directly from any planets the warship may come across. Though armsmen are most prepared for any close quarters fighting, Radiants will also find themselves fighting alongside armsmen when repelling hostile boarding actions. In these situations, Radiants will fight using melee weapons, and sometimes pistols or shotguns if they are available. Radiants are a vital part of the Imperial Navy.
We are the Imperial Navy!
Those damn tech priests!
The Imperial Navy, by necessity, must work with all other Imperial branches. The Navy works ceaselessly with the Imperial Guard, transporting entire battle groups through the void and onto the battlefield. Navy transport ships may also carry Aeronautica Imperialis air wings for planet-side deployment. The Inquisition may utilize Imperial Navy assets when available. If an Inquisitor deems fit, entire battle groups or even battle fleets may be reassigned. Astartes fleets are invaluable, and although Astartes do not rely on the Imperial Navy for transport, the Adeptus Astartes may also coordinate with Imperial Navy forces when conducting assaults. The relationship between the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Imperial Navy is close. Many Adeptus Mechanicus personnel are on every warship, and the Council of Mechanicus Tech Priests and Magi are highly valued by Imperial Navy captains. From the higher levels of ship maintenance to the operation of individual strike craft or gun batteries, Tech Priests are just as valuable to a warship's crew as its ratings or officers.